Are you a travel blogger looking to make more money from affiliate marketing? If so, you've probably heard of Stay22. Stay22 is an affiliate marketing platform that is meant to help travel bloggers increase their bookings, especially for hotels, using AI. But a lot of travel bloggers don't actually know if it's worth it. Now, I wasn't sure either, so I've been testing it for about a year now, since about May 2023. So it's been on my website for, I think, 10 months of that time. And in that, I've been recording a really in-depth case study for my SEO Roadmap students. Now it's finally time to release the data to all of you guys. So in this video, we're going to talk about Stay22, what it is, how it works, how you use it, if it impacts your site negatively, and most importantly, if it impacts your income positively. So sit back and we're going to go through how Stay22 works in this extremely honest review where we'll see if you should try it on your own website. Now, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Nina Clapperton. I'm the founder of She Knows SEO, and I am all about helping bloggers grow their income through SEO and passive income means. If you haven't subscribed already, I recommend subscribing because I've got lots of great videos for you guys and even more great stuff coming every Thursday this month. So let's go through the 4 different kind of functions of Stay22. So first we have the Let Me Allay, or Let Me Allez, as many people call it, as script, which is the probably most popular thing with Stay22. This is their AI powered affiliate that basically is going to figure out the best affiliate for the user. So for example, if someone is a booking.com stan and they love booking.com, it is going to serve them the booking.com version of their link. Now this does use cookies, so I have no idea how this is going to last and survive the cookie apocalypse. Luckily that's been pushed back to 2025, so who knows if it's ever going to happen at this point. But the intention of this is that it will take whatever link you have, and you could have linked Expedia, and it will change it as needed for the user. The next thing we have is the interactive map function, and this is going to be the maps that look like kind of a Google map. However, everything on the map is an affiliate. So here we can see in the example, there's booking.com links, VRBO links, and there's even a little airport I guess pin. It doesn't quite look like a pin, but that's kind of what it is, to help the user figure out where they're staying, what they want, and then they can actually search for any of these things on your site the way that they could search Google Maps to make these bookings themselves. And they're all going to be affiliate links. Then we have the Allay affiliate link kind of converter, and this is where you can actually create affiliate links right inside of Stay22. So you never need to join another network, you never have to use anything else. You are going to be able to convert links automatically within Stay22. That does mean that these are Stay22 links. So if you do leave Stay22, that will become a problem and you will not be able to automatically convert them to another place. You're going to have to go manually and convert them. That's pretty par for the course, but that's something to keep in mind. The interesting thing with these links as well that I think is kind of the coolest function is that they're automatically going to detect the language and currency of the user. Most affiliate links are very, very specific and locked into a singular location. So for example, with travel payouts, Expedia is locked into Expedia UK. I believe CJ is as well. And that means that it automatically goes into Great British Pounds whenever you try to use it. As someone who's Canadian and typically travels and pays with CAD, it is very annoying to try and do that conversion or to have to every single time redo it myself. So this is a really cool function. Then lastly, we have their list view. Now the list view is something that I do not use, to be honest. I completely forget it exists. It is something they don't really talk about, but I do believe it's one of those things that they launched earlier, kind of with the map function. Now this is more if you're whitelisting something. For example, if you're trying to make your own version of something like booking.com. Most bloggers are not going to do that. And so honestly, we're going to leave it out of this review because I have never used it, so I can't really speak to it. I don't know how it works. I don't really know its effectiveness, but for 99% of travel bloggers, this is not going to be your use case for Stay22 anyway. Now, what will be your use case is using it for affiliate links on your website. And these are going to be affiliate links in any blog post. Right now, Stay22 is specifically for hotels and accommodations. However, they've slowly been expanding. Right now, Expedia, you can do flights and rental cars as well. And they keep teasing and talking about the fact that they are going to bring in Viator and Get Your Guide. That would be amazing for travel bloggers. It's going to be a lot easier to have them in one centralized location and to be able to adjust it based on the user's preference. I also hope they bring in some other networks like Klook and things like that that are bigger in Asia. That way we get more diversity of these links depending on where the person is from or going to. At the moment, it feels a little bit like Euro-Western centric, I believe, with the hotel accommodations currently that they focus on. So when you sign up to Stay22, you do not need to have any specific traffic. There's literally no barrier to entry except that you have a website and that you are a travel blogger. Those are the only two things you need. Then you can sign up, and once you're approved, it really doesn't take very long, to be honest, you're going to be able to convert links immediately. You're also going to be able to add the maps immediately, and you do not have to get individual approval for each affiliate within Stay22. I think that's really great. It saves you a lot of time having to deal with that, and it means you're immediately going to be able to start writing your affiliate posts and making some money on your blog. So let's talk about the system and kind of how this works. So when you want to run Stay22 on your blog, there are a couple different ways you can add it in. You have different options based on what you want. You can just use the maps, in which case you're going to go over to the Manage My Maps section and you are going to create a map. Now the map is going to be whatever you want it to be, really. Here is an example I have for my Ottawa site of downtown Ottawa hotels, and you can see it automatically populates with VRBOs and Booking.com links in the area. Now I can filter that more if I wanted to do something more specific, but this was just going in my footer. It was just going to be kind of a quick map, so I didn't set up any specific changes to it. Once you have that, you're going to copy the embed code, and then you can just put it in an HTML block on your website, and it's ready to go. The next option is that you can generate, I have to move my little recording thing from Zoom or from Loom. Here you can see the Allay generator, and this is where you can actually create links for yourself. So you're going to paste in a traditional link that you found from wherever you are. If you're on Booking.com or Expedia, you can see it currently only supports VRBO, Expedia, Booking, and Hotels.com. You paste in the link, and then you can add a campaign ID. That way you can track it. I really recommend doing that. It is such a good idea to know where you're linking and where you're making money, and it'll generate a custom link for you that you're then able to use as an affiliate link on your website. Now, getting to like the POP and Let Me Allay function, that's where you can actually generate a script. So you can see down here we have the Let Me Allay script, and this is where you're going to get a script that runs across your whole website. At the moment, they have to custom make that for you, and I do appreciate that it is custom made. It means you have to wait a moment to get it installed because they want to make sure that they're building it to your specifications. So for example, if you want it to pick up on any link that you have that is not a Stay22 affiliate, if you want it to pick up on any travel payouts links or any CJ links that you had previously, it can then do that. If you don't tell them that, then it is going to only pick up on direct Booking.com links, direct Expedia links that were not an affiliate link. Or I think it does pick up on Booking.com affiliate links because it's like the same base. But if it's through CJ, for example, with Expedia, it completely changes the domain, and so then the script doesn't know to look for it. So you'll be able to email them, and I heard back really quickly, I think within 24 hours, and I had a script ready to run on my site. That script you're going to install in your header or your footer. Header is the best, that way it does, like, footer is going to load at the last bit of your page, and that means that if someone clicks ahead of time and it didn't run yet, especially if your site speed is slow, you're not going to get that affiliate commission. Now, this script does slow down your site a little bit, so this is a test that I ran on a specific page on my Ottawa Build and Public case study site. You can see it's the 22 best hotels in Ottawa with pools in 2024. The page loads in about 4.1 seconds. It's usually around 2.4 seconds. And down here, if we look at the code, we can see where is the first Stay22 one? Right here. We have our first Stay22 script loading around that 3-second mark, 3.5-second mark. And it's not crazy long of a load. It is adding about 900 milliseconds. However, it's loading in conjunction with a few other things like my Google Analytics. And at the time I was running this, to be fair, I probably messed this up a little bit because I had Microsoft Clarity rerunning something on my site. So that was a bit slow as well. However, these are not impacting someone's ability to use the post. So I don't think it's a huge slowdown, but it is 100% slowing the site a little bit. And it is adding code. And anytime you add code like this that is running and adding extra things to the site, it has to think about every single thing that's happening, it is going to slow your site. Now, when I first started doing it, it added about, I believe 40 kilobytes of data is what I found. And that's fine for my database speed. I don't have a very weighted down database, so that was not a deal breaker to me. If your site is already slow, if your site already has database issues, for example, if you're hitting your database limits with your web provider, this is going to be a problem. You're either going to need to increase those to fix your site speed, or you just shouldn't use this, essentially. And I'm not saying that to be warn you away fully. This is a normal thing, it happens, but it is something you have to consider. Just like when you run ads on your site, there is going to be some level of site speed slowdown. That is going to happen here too. For me, that also means that some of my images load later because I have lazy loaded images, so they are loading after a lot of these elements. And as you can see up here, my logo doesn't load until the 4.1 second mark. It doesn't massively matter to me, but that is something to consider, especially if you had some sort of amazing design at the top that really did matter to you. So that's how the Let Me Allay works. Basically, if someone is on your site, I did open up an example of this over here. If someone's on your site, they're going to scroll down and then they would click on a link and it's going to take them to their hotel of choice. However, I have excluded Booking.com from this because for the last about 4 months, I've been running a test to see if I make more money direct with Booking or with Stay22. And that is because Stay22 has some of the worst pricing transparency I have seen in a while. Every other affiliate network you are with will give you a very specific number. You'll get a percentage of your commission of how much you are going to make. And they all seem able to factor out whatever they're making on top of that. So it's very clear, okay, with travel payouts, I know, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I know with Viator, it's 4%. You are getting that money. That is, or it might be 8%. I don't know, I'm making up numbers now, but you can see it immediately and you know what money you're going to get. With Stay22, that is nowhere. I spent about 3 days combing through every file of their website. I went through every post. I went through their privacy policy, their terms and conditions. I went through the code of the website to see if I could figure it out. I had ChatGPT and Bing's AI try to find it. I went through every other review post and review video I found. No one knows what percentage you are getting, and that is incredibly frustrating. Now, this is also the case when you look at your actual booking dashboard. I'll show you in a minute an actual it populated, but you can see it only shows you the commission, and the commission it gives you is the physical dollar amount, not a percentage. So that means you have no idea how much someone actually booked for their total amount for you to be okay, I made this percentage. So you can't even reverse engineer it, and that is really frustrating to me. Now, I'm not saying that we get less. I genuinely don't know, and it's very hard to compare unless you yourself went in and booked with Booking.com's affiliate and then with Stay22's affiliate and tested. I don't think we should have to do that. It should not be this hard to just tell us the amount. I've actually contacted Stay22 to ask this, and I have, at time of recording, not heard back. I will update y'all if I hear back, but I've tried a couple times and they don't really give a strict answer. Now, according to their website, they do say, oh, you're going to get 30%, which is more than you get when going with a travel agent. But that's not true. We are not getting 30% of a booking for Booking.com because Booking.com doesn't do that. That's just not the way it works. So there's something happening there that is weird and frustrating. And I will say one of my biggest issues with Stay22 is their business practices and how they handle their customer relations, because they do not have a very good customer relations department that can explain things very well. So because of that, I decided I was going to run my own test. As I said, it's really hard to tell, but I can tell you I made more from Booking.com directly, which is frustrating. It wasn't significantly more, I will say. This is not a site where accommodations are kind of my bread and butter. It's not the thing that makes me the most money on this website. Tours are the thing that does. However, my income increased, and that is something to consider. So, as to say that this first link, it is not a Stay22 link. It is a Booking.com link, and it opens up just normal Booking.com. But if we scroll down, I have to remember Brook Street. Okay, down here, we finally get to a Stay22 link. So if I hover over it, you can see that it is stay22.com/LA/Expedia, and then all the information that populates about it. What happens when I click on that is that it immediately opens to Expedia. But it opens to Expedia and it figures out what location I'm in, and it figures out what currency I'm in. So that is going to help your audience get that information quickly. Now there's also the POP function, which is kind of a pop-up version of this that also happens on your website. I could not find a specific link of that because I don't know which ones were that. It seemed like any of the Expedia ones I clicked kind of open the same way, but essentially the POP function operates in a very similar way. It's just deciding for itself which of these affiliates it should be, and then it sends you to it. So it's kind of a slightly ugly pop-up, to be honest with y'all. Not the end of the world. I mean, I don't think any pop-up is the prettiest thing in the world, but that could be detrimental to user experience to some extent. This does mean that users that do get served this link, though, are going to get what is best for them in the end. So if they're willing to hold on for a minute, then they'll get kind of a better option in the end that might convince them to book a bit more. Now, people also asked, okay, what if I'm using travel payouts? Does that convert my link? Now, I kind of teased this earlier that it won't unless you tell them, but I wanted to prove it. So I added a link down here that's called testing. And if I hover over it, you can see it says expedia.tp.st. That's because it's the travel payouts, Expedia. So if I click on that and it opens up, you'll notice once it loads that it is expedia.co.uk. So like I said before, those links, and I did just do a homepage link, so it's not like it messed up, but it doesn't know where I am. And so that means that I would have to manually go to the Canadian site and then set my currency as well. So I already think the allay function is really strong for not making us do that for our user. And if our user was not a native English speaker, having it immediately served in their language is such a boon. That is so good and so helpful to them. But equally, I'm still definitely annoyed about the lack of transparency around commissions. So when you use Stay22, you have your dashboard here that is going to give you your totals per month. I would say my next gripe with Stay22 is a lack of accessibility. So basic things that most other places have, you have to hunt for a little bit here. For example, having a chart on the homepage that just immediately gave you the numbers per month that you had would make so much more sense of like having a text chart versus just having these graphs. The graphs are fine, they're visual, but if someone is visually impaired or if someone can only use a keyboard to get around a website, these are not helpful. Like they just aren't. So that being said, you can get good information out of them if you can use them. So you're going to have it at a glance on your homepage. I'm recording this May 4th, so I haven't had any bookings this month. So I have 0 revenue, 0 total bookings, and that's going to be like individual number of people, or pardon me, individual number of like booking kind of moments, but those could be for multiple nights. Then I have my average commission in USD, again, no percentages, which is quite annoying. And total revenue, I should say as well, is like revenue I've earned from all of my commissions. It is, again, not the actual like amount our users spent anywhere. Which if you've worked with booking.com directly or hotels.com directly or VRBO, or which isn't direct, is with CJ, or Expedia through CJ, like it gives you that information. So that information's available and it should really be passed on to us. If you hover over the graph, you're going to be able to see how much you made each month. And I do like the visualization of like which month was your best month. In the last 12 months, March of 2024 was my best month with $93.69. Now, I tend to peak over winter. This winter was a little bit different. The winter before in 2023, January and February were incredibly high, which actually caused me some problems when I came over to Stay22 at first, where my income dropped like a stone when I first got here. And that is one of the reasons why I also pulled out my booking.com links. That way I would have them separated because I was losing so much money over the test. And you can even see I have no data for September, and that's because I just turned it off because I was frustrated partway through August. In October, I met with them again virtually, and we had a discussion around it, and I decided to keep running my test and to test it with booking.com excluded. I can say I make a lot more with booking.com, so I would still personally lean towards direct over this. And I found that with their customer relations, like I said, not my favorite. I was talked down to a lot in that call, which was really uncomfortable. And I don't think they fully meant to. I think that this partially came from maybe a lack of understanding of my question or a language barrier. I'm not sure. I want to have the benefit of the doubt, but the 3 different calls I've been on with them, none of them left me with solid answers about anything I was asking about. And I was repeatedly told, even with this one, it was really funny actually, when I said, I was like, hey, my income is like really down. I'm not happy. Things like that. They just went, well, have you heard of SEO? Do you know SEO? And I was like, I'm emailing you from nina@sheknowsseo.co. Like, come on. So it was a bit ridiculous. And I think that comes from like a growing company that needs to really work on their customer relations. That is 100% key. So I do hope they continue to improve that. And I do hope that they continue to also improve their ability to explain the product, because that was some of my first issues with them, is that they could not really explain what the Let Me Allay was and the POP function. So I tried it because they couldn't explain it to my audience, and I wanted to figure it out so I could explain it. Again, this is a pretty common growing pain with like a new company or new tech. People who are really good at tech tend to struggle with customer relation and vice versa. So it is understandable. I just hope that they continue to improve on it. Now, they have continued to improve on the actual system in the back end. So we have the dashboard, we have bookings. The booking area is where you can set to figure out your date ranges and information like that. And they finally made it so you can scroll like more easily, but oops, I didn't mean to click back there, through these settings. However, it still glitches for sure, as you just saw. And again, it's not super accessible. It's not very mobile friendly. So I also hope that they continue to work on these, the tech of like their back end. So I've opened up my bookings from April of 2024. You can see my total revenue was $49.37. I did another like 50 or I believe 60, I think it was $56, something like that, on booking.com that month. This was a much lower month for me, kind of to be expected. I mean, spring, I don't really have a lot of spring stuff on this website, but you can see here the data that we are given, and we are given a decent amount of data. My issue is that we are still not given the total amount booked and that percentage. Even if they didn't offer the percentage, if I could just see how much money these people spent on the booking, I could calculate that and get an idea of how much I'm making with it. So again, little gripe. Now here you'll be able to see the product that you made the commission through. I think that is such a good feature. I also really like that you can see which provider they were booked with. That way, even if you tested this for a month, 3 months, whatever, like I did at first, I at least came out of this with a lot of data on which provider my audience preferred. Now it's a Canadian site, so Expedia is kind of more common in Canada, I would say. Booking.com is a little bit more common in the US. And I was able to learn that that is the case, that stayed the case, and people continued to prefer Expedia. So even though I have Booking.com links on my site, I really only have like 3 or 4 hotels that I use it for, and the rest I use Expedia because of the data I got from this. So that is something to consider, that like you can learn a lot from that data of A/B testing, and this is a great way to A/B test it on your website. You're also going to see if it's a flight or an accommodation. Again, I can't wait till they bring out tours. I will definitely keep trying it once the tours come out, because I think that is a really interesting use case and a really cool way to A/B test that data. And then you have your other data of like the commission amount, the nights, if it was booked or canceled. Remember that just like with any hotel affiliate or tour affiliate, you get paid once the person stays and pays for it, like, and people can cancel at any time. So a lot of this stuff does shift and change over time. Then you'll have your campaign IDs of the specific posts. Always, always, always put a campaign ID. It's so important for you to understand what people are doing, where they're booking from, and it can really help you if you pair this with Microsoft Clarity, just like with travel payouts, creating kind of an Affiliate dupe. Stay22 does integrate with Affiliate now, which is also great, but if you don't have Affiliate at time of recording, they are not currently accepting new like low-level accounts unless you're enterprise. This is a great way to get that data. You'll also get like whether they use desktop or phone, you'll get the commission type, and you'll get any extra info if it can tell you what hotel they specifically booked with. But I can usually tell that based on the campaign ID, so then I'm not too fussed about that. We also have our generic analytics that are more about like the page views themselves. Now it's only going to give us data on the pages that have these links on them. So for loads, it's going to be like loads of this across your website. So if you don't have it on a page, then that's gonna, like, you're gonna immediately lose that data. So it's something to consider of this is not the same as your G4 analytics. It won't be the same as Microsoft Clarity. It's only going to be when these codes load on your website. Then views are going to be like views of, and it's only of the map, which is interesting. It's not of the Let Me Allay, which I thought was kind of funny. You'll have interactions, click-through rate, and then total bookings out of it. Again, these are for the map, and I don't know why it's not for everything, but that is something that maybe, again, they'll improve. Then you have your maps here, you have the LA generator, and then page analytics is brand new. So I actually had to re-record this because they brought this out like the moment I finished recording the first one. So let me pause and set some settings for y'all. Okay, so with the page analytics, it's actually going to show you what pages on your website these things are happening on. So you'll have the domain of your website, you'll have the specific page that it's loading on, and then you'll have the bookings that came from that, total clicks, EPC. Oh God, I don't remember what that stands for specifically, but it's earnings per click. That's what it was. Because I always want to say like RPM, but I know that's not what it is. But so if someone clicks on average, then you're going to make 81 cents or whatever, as you see here. Then the actual amount I earned that has been paid out already versus pending, which means probably will be paid out, might not be. Interestingly, the unknown happens constantly. So I find that this is not super clear about the page analytics yet. And that's what I wanted to highlight here, is that I think this is a good function, but I think that there are some issues with it tracking properly. So this is brand new, as I said, so I think that they're gonna improve it anyway. But something to consider is that like there are some reporting issues here, and really tying this into something like your G4 events or into Microsoft Clarity will help you understand your data a lot better. Now with Stay22 as well, kind of like with travel payouts, the great thing is that you can get a payout without needing to like have $25 commission on every single thing. Instead, it's aggregated together. So for me, I do PayPal, and with that, you have to have $100 payout ready for you to get that for free. However, they have ACH payments. They have other payment systems as well with a lower payout threshold. I just like it to go to my PayPal because it's easier for me without like wire transfers and stuff. And it has the lowest fees as someone who is not in the US with a US bank account. After I recorded that video, I finally got a response from Stay22, and I wanted to include it so y'all can see kind of the issues that I'm having here. This is a lot of not helpful talk. Essentially, they are saying that we get 30% as an entrepreneur working with Stay22 of what Stay22 gets. But if we don't know how much Stay22 is getting, and it's okay and very normal for them to get more than we are getting in this case. For example, I would expect that travel payouts gets a lot more than we get, because they need to be paid as the content aggregator, and they're probably getting kind of that raise that we would likely get as a user when you hit certain payout thresholds. We don't necessarily need to know like what they're getting, but we need to know what we're getting. And 30% of Stay22's amount still doesn't give us any sort of commission structure for what we're getting from individual organizations. This also means that we don't even know if we would get a higher commission with Booking.com or Expedia or TripAdvisor. I doubt it'd be TripAdvisor of the three, but genuinely, we cannot tell. And that's where my issue with this comes in, is they clearly have very specific language that they use and have been trained to use. So I'm sure if you ask them a question, you're going to get a very similar, if not directly the same response. But what we're not getting here is any sort of specific information that really makes it clear as a user, as an entrepreneurial user, how much you can expect to get in a commission. And that makes it really hard to plan your affiliate articles and to plan your content. Now, if you go to sheknowsSEO.co/pageview-calculator, you will find an affiliate calculator that helps you anticipate how much money you might earn from an article based on the affiliate commission structure given to you by a company. That's a major way that I scaled my travel blog to $30,000 a month, was by knowing how much I can get paid out by an affiliate versus the page views and my historical conversion rates and things like that. At this point, for using Stay22, I have all of that other information. I do not have a commission structure. that's where this falls down for me. And I would highly recommend to Stay22 that they actually share even an anticipated or starting commission rate that most users get, because I can't believe that it would vary massively between each company. Even if they said with Booking.com, you can expect at least a 2% commission rate, with Expedia, a 4% commission, like whatever. I'm coming up with fake numbers, but if they could give us specifics like that, it would help empower us as entrepreneurs to make decisions with our content and to better understand what we can improve to improve our income. So overall, in a year with Stay22, I made just over $400. There was about $100 more in there, but that was from one map I had accidentally running on my main travel website that I didn't even realize was there until I came back and used this. So the map function does do something. I genuinely, it's in the middle of a random post that I did not expect. So I do think that they do decently well. But really the focus of this was the Let Me Allay script and the POP function. And while it works, it definitely had issues for me. So for example, that lack of transparency around commissions was a huge turnoff for me. The issues as well about me turning off the Booking.com sections of it and then Booking.com paying me more, that was frustrating to see that disparity. You also don't get the greatest analytic reporting, and you do typically have to email them to get more specific analytics and more robust analytics. So we know that they have that data and they aren't passing it all along to us yet, and that is not great. I really would recommend to them that they focus on that analytics, because as a marketer, first-hand data, first-party data, like the kind that we get from this, is the best thing we have. It is one of our most powerful tools because we are not relying on third-party data. We don't have to worry about other people. We are getting our own data, and that allows us to track things year over year, to figure out what's working, what's not working, and to have a company withholding that is incredibly frustrating. So for me, that was the biggest negative of Stay22. Overall, I know a lot of other people have had great success with them and made thousands of dollars more, or so they say. I didn't have that experience, and I'm not saying that means that this doesn't work at all. What I'm saying is you have to test it for yourself, because just like with anything, it is going to vary by the user. It is going to vary based on your niche, based on your location, based on your audience and their ability to use these things, based on your site speed. If your website cannot handle this, it's just going to hurt you. And especially if your website loads in something like 8 seconds and someone clicks on that link at the 4-second mark, that script has not loaded yet. So you are going to lose that affiliate commission, and that's not going to benefit you. So keep all of this in mind when you are considering working with Stay22. Overall, I would say 3 out of 5 stars in my opinion. It didn't make me a bunch more money. It was quite easy to use. It was easy to integrate, which I really appreciated, but ultimately it fell down in giving me way more work to do to try and understand my analytics, to try and track things, and with having to really go back and forth with customer service far too often to figure out a lot of these issues that I was having with lack of reporting, or with just trying to get a commission structure clearly said to us. So I would recommend to Stay22 that they work on kind of the travel blogger relation side of things a little bit more, which is something most companies, and let's be real, Booking.com's direct affiliate also really need to work on. That way that they are able to give us the data that we need and enable us and empower us to actually improve our systems so that we can make more money by making them more money. This really just helps everybody. I did love that this was a feature that was meant to make it easier for us to not have to A/B test and not have to do quite as many tests. However, if we don't have that reporting data in the end, we are going to end up doing more work. So I would love to hear from you. Have you used Stay22? Did it make you more money? Let me know your experience. I've heard a lot of disparate ones where people have said it was great. People have said it really didn't do anything for them. Some people lost money on it. Many people gained money. It just depends on you. My recommendation would be to run the script once you've spoken with them and seen if you're a good fit. Try running it for maybe a month, because you can turn it off at any point. Just like there is no barrier to entry, there is no barrier to exit either, which I do appreciate from them, other than if you convert those links within their system. But you don't have to. If you have the Let Me Allay script, you can just put in a traditional booking link, or you can have it convert your existing CJ, travel payouts, or Booking.com affiliate links for you. but you have to tell them that those exist. Like, that is important to do. And once you do that, then it can just convert them for you for a month. See if you improve your income over that month. However, I would specify this before you run that test. Know your income from that month from the year before. Don't look at your income from the month before, because blogging is not like a linear income sort of system. It will be cyclical. So we want to get an idea of, okay, just because last month was a peak month for you doesn't mean this month will be, but how much did you make this month last year? Try to keep that in mind. That way you can compare, or even just like test it on and off, kind of month on month, and see how you go. If this works really well, I think it does have the potential to like really make people a lot of money. And one of the reasons I got on that call with them is because everyone was having such like great success, and I wanted to as well. But that was not my experience, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So ultimately, it is up to you to decide if this is something that you would like to try on your website and to see what results it can get you. Thank you so much for joining me today for my Stay22 review. If you guys want to learn more about travel blogging and SEO, definitely subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, that way you get alerted to all of my new videos, including a new video every single Thursday on something SEO, travel blogging, or AI related to help you improve your traffic and your income. If you'd also like to learn more right now, there's a video on the screen that is my travel payouts review, which is another great affiliate program for travel bloggers that is very beginner friendly and expands beyond hotels. So with travel payouts, you are able to basically work with any travel affiliate, and there is almost no barrier to entry, which is a great way to get started earning more passive income. Okay, I'll see you guys next Thursday. Have a great week.